Amidst the freedom struggle, the women of India were silent architects of change. There have been many examples in the modern Indian history where women played a very major role, particularly in the freedom struggle. And our books of history is full of names such as Rani Lakshmi Bai ji from the region of Jhansi. Apart from this, Bhogeshwar Phuknani ji, Matangini Hazra ji, who is also referred as Budi Gandhi. But there was one fearless queen from the region of Tulu Nadu, particularly the coastal region of Karnataka. Yes, my friends, you have guessed it right. Rani Abbaka, also referred as Maharani Abbaka Chowta. So who was Maharani Abbaka Chowta? What was her major role in driving out the Portuguese from the capital city of Ullal during her initial attacks? Where did the Chowta dynasty rule? What is the history of Tulu Nadu? In today's short video, we are going to explore all these facts. Hello everyone. Hi, this is Alok Ojha. Welcome to StudyIQ IAS English. Chowta dynasty. Chowta dynasty particularly ruled in the coastal region of Karnataka. The rulers of Chowta dynasty followed one system which is referred as Aliya Santan. In very simple language or very simple words, Aliya Santan basically means matrilineal system of inheritance. The ruler of Chowta dynasty at that time was Thirumal. And Thirumal Rai, he was the uncle of Abbaka Rani Chowta. At that time, Thirumal Rai chose Abbaka Rani Chowta as her successor and the next queen of Ullal. Ullal, it was a port city and the capital of the Chowta dynasty. Now, apart from choosing her as the queen or the successor of Chowta dynasty, Maharani Abbaka Devi, she was expert in all sorts of warfare skills and military strategies. She was expert in horse riding, fencing, archery, swordsmanship, and so on. Apart from giving the training to Rani Abbaka Devi, Thirumal Rai ji also strengthened his position by entering into the policy of matrimonial alliance. And Abbaka Rani ji was being married to Lakshmappa Arasa, so that he was a ruler from the region of Mangalore, so that their position could be strengthened. In the coming years, the marriage did not, last for a long time. And her husband wanted to take the revenge from Maharani Abbaka. In the later part of the years, this person, he created an alliance with Portuguese to attack on the region of the port city of Ullal, which was being ruled by Rani Abbaka. Now, Ullal, the port city, it did not had only the strategic importance, since it was a capital of the Chowta dynasty, but it also had economic importance. Apart from this, it had a religious importance. A famous Rudra rock temple was being constructed by Maharani Abbaka Chowta in this region. It says that when the waters from the sea falls on the Rudra rock or it splashes on the Rudra rock, it changes its color, it shines. Apart from this, the city of Ullal had a very strategic importance from the perspective of trade, since it was a coastal city. And at that time, spice trade was quite in vogue. Now, before I speak about the spice trade, how did Maharani Abbaka Chowta, she had skirmishes with Portuguese? Let me talk about Portuguese in short. Vasco da Gama landed on the coast of Calicut with a fleet of 4 ships and approximately 176 to 178 soldiers on the coast of Calicut. He was being guided by a Gujarati merchant whose name was Abdul Majid. At that time, the ruler of the Calicut, or the Eradi dynasty ruler of the Calicut at that time, was Samutri, also referred as Zemmorin. Now, Vasco da Gama came India particularly for trade in spices. But for the very first time, he learnt about that region and went back. After Vasco da Gama comes to India, Pedro Cabral. Pedro Cabral, on its way, he discovers Brazil. And when he comes to India, he has a lot of skirmishes with the Arabs. Why? Because prior to the Portuguese, Arabs dominated the sea trade precisely in the Arabian Sea. After Pedro Cabral comes Francisco de Almeida. And Francisco de Almeida follows a very simple policy of blue water policy. Very simple words, to have a monopolistic control over the Indian Ocean so that they can have a vibrant and a dominant trade in this region. After them comes Albuquerque, and Albuquerque conquered the region of Goa, which later on became the epicenter of economic activities of Portuguese in India. So, in 1510, Goa was being captured by Albuquerque, precisely the Portuguese. And now, they had an eye towards the region of Kanara, particularly the port city of Ullal. As I have told you in the first part, that Chowta dynasty was a Jain dynasty, but still they revered and respected various other communities. Like it is believed that although Maharani Abbaka ji, she was a follower of Jainism, but still she revered and respected various other religions. This is portrayed by the number of men in infantry and cavalry. Like there were Hindus, there were Muslim, and people belonging to fishermen community as well, referred as Moga Veeras. This simply highlights the policy of religious tolerance that was being followed by Rani Abbaka ji. Now comes the skirmishes with the Portuguese, and approximately for 5 to 6 times the Portuguese attacked the region of Mangalore and particular parts of Ullal, the port city. Now, in 1525, they made their intentions clear. Now, in 1510, they had conquered Goa. From 1525, they have started following the policy of moving towards southwards of the region of Goa. And precisely speaking, why this region was important? Because they wanted to establish a monopolistic control over the spice trade prevalent in this region. From 1555, now Portuguese were in action. And one of the Portuguese generals, whose name was Dom Alvaro Silveira. Dom Alvaro Silveira, he conquered the region of Mangalore. And now he was turning towards Ullal. He gave 2 conditions to Rani Abbaka Devi ji. And the conditions were either surrender the port city of Ullal and accept our suzerainty, or pay an annual tribute to us. Maharani Abbaka Devi ji, she denied both these conditions. And she knew that she has to prepare herself for the battle and for the wars. And as I've told you, her military had expert warriors from Hindus, Muslim and various other community, including the Moga Veeras, that is the fishermen community. Portuguese attacked Mangalore 1557. In 1558, they again attacked the region of Mangalore, destroyed the temples, burned the ships in that region. It is said that women and children also died during these skirmishes. And they also attacked the region of Ullal, but they were not successful. And the resistance offered by Maharani Abbaka Devi ji, this thwarted out all the attempts and the efforts of the Portuguese. Now, Portuguese were very frustrated, and in 1567, there was a person referred as Pixto, an admiral general particularly of the Portuguese. He led an attack on the region of Ullal. And during this attempt, as the initial part, he was quite successful. And he also entered the royal court. Somehow, Rani Abbaka managed to escape the royal court, and she took asylum, she took refuge in a nearby masjid or mosque. During the night time, Rani Abbaka ji, she gathered approximately 200 to 250 soldiers and attacked on the Portuguese camp. Portuguese were not ready for this attack. More than 70 Portuguese soldiers were taken as prisoners of war. Many of the Portuguese soldiers were being killed. In fact, Admiral Pixoto, he was also being killed. So this attempt of the Portuguese again was a very humiliating and a drastic failure. But as I have told you in the initial part of this discussion, that the husband of Rani Abbaka, he created an alliance with whom? Portuguese. And after creating an alliance, he wanted to take the revenge. He created an alliance with the Portuguese, and now he attacked the region of Ullal. This time it is said that Maharani Abbaka, she was being held by the neighboring kingdoms, particularly Samutri that is Zamorin. Apart from this, the military commander of Zamorin, he fought bravely, but he lost his life. His name was Kutti Pokar. He lost his life. Apart from this, the Banga dynasty, the neighboring kingdom, also helped Rani Abbaka Chowta. But finally, she was being defeated and she was being imprisoned by the Portuguese. But still in the prison, she revolted and fought till her last breath. This was about the fearless queen of Tulu Nadu, Rani Abbaka Chowta. We come to know about the Rani Abbaka Chowta through traditional folk theatre which has been passed down from generation to generation, that is Yakshagan. Bhuto Kola, one of the famous traditional ritual dance, particularly in the region of Tulu Nadu. Here the great deeds of Rani Abbaka Chowta is being narrated by the legends. This was the contribution of Maharani Abbaka Chowta ji of the Chowta dynasty, the fearless queen of Tulu Nadu. For more such interesting videos, do follow StudyIQ IS English. Apart from this, StudyIQ IS English is starting a new batch on 8th of August. Admissions are closing very soon. You can visit the website of StudyIQ IS English and avail the benefits of the course by using my code Alok Live that is flashing on your screen. I repeat the code Alok Live that is flashing on your screen. Hope you liked the video. Thanks a lot, guys.